Welcome to the Hunt County Appraisal District webinar regarding the 2020 protest process. My name is Brent South. I'm the Chief Appraiser for Hunt County Appraisal District, and I'm glad that you have joined us today. I know most of you have received your 2020 appraisal notice from our office and have many questions regarding what to do next. So hopefully over the next few minutes, we'll be able to address those questions and get you pointed in the right direction. First, I want to talk about the property tax calendar, and I want to specifically mention the January 1 assessment date. We have a statutory mandate to appraise all property at its market value as of January 1st each year. I know that this year is unique in the fact that we're in the middle of an economic crisis due to COVID-19. We understand that people are out of work, businesses are closed, and there are folks that are struggling financially. We reviewed the property tax code looking for any alternative to the January 1 assessment date. Unfortunately, there's nothing in the property tax code that allows us to appraise property at any other date besides January 1. So the appraisal notices that you've received in your mail are a reflection of the real estate market in Hunt County as of January 1st, 2020. As we go through the rest of the property tax calendar, the next couple of months will be the appeals process. We will certify an appraisal roll to the taxing units in July. At that point, the taxing units will go through their tax rate adoption process, and then the tax assessor collector will send you the tax bill in October. Taxes become delinquent if they are not paid by January 31st. Some important information that you need to be aware of. Again, this is a unique year. In years past, when we send the appraisal notices out, we typically allow property owners to schedule informal face-to-face meetings with our appraisal staff to try to get their issues resolved. Because of COVID-19 and the health and safety risks involved, our office is closed to the public until further notice. With that being said, we're still going to try to work with property owners as much as possible informally. However, all communication will be done either over the telephone, through email, or through our online portal, which can be found on our website at www.hunt-cad.org. So we encourage everyone, if you disagree with your appraisal notice, please file a formal protest. Either file it through the online portal, fill out the form on the back of your appraisal notice and send it to us through the mail. You can email the protest form to us at onlineprotest@hunt-cad.org, or you can fax it to us at 903-454-4160. We do encourage you to not come to our office. Again, we are closed to the public, and we're going to remain closed until further notice. Also, I want to point out that all of our appraisal review board hearings will be conducted telephonically this year, and we'll talk a little bit more about that process here shortly. The notice of appraised value that you received should have quite a bit of information that helps you understand the value that we've set and how that impacts you individually. Those value notices are mailed to property owners in the spring of every year. This year, we did not send notices to property owners whose value did not increase by at least $1,000. On the appraisal notice, you're going to see three different values. You'll have your market value, which is the value that your property would sell for on the open market as of January 1, 2020. You're also going to see your assessed value, which is the reduced value of your home after the homestead cap limitation. In the state of Texas, on your homestead property, the assessed value cannot go up by more than 10% in 1 year. The market value will still go up to what the actual market value is, but your assessed value is capped at 10%. And then finally, you're going to see the taxable value, which is the value that is applied to the tax rate after the deduction for any exemptions that you have on that property. So what do you do if you disagree with the appraisal district's appraised value? You need to file your protest. This year, because of COVID-19, we're asking everyone to please file the formal protest. We are not conducting any informal in-person meetings with our appraisers. You need to file the protest. Our appraisers are going to make every effort to contact property owners who have filed a protest and try to resolve the issue informally over the telephone or through email or through our online portal, again, which is found on our website. The protest deadline for 2020 is May 22nd. Any protests that are filed after the May 22nd deadline will not be considered timely. We will be going through the informal process from April 23rd through May 22nd. Again, that informal process this year involves appraisers from the appraisal district reaching out to property owners who have filed a timely protest and trying to get those resolved prior to an appraisal review board hearing. And then the ARB will conduct their formal hearings during the summer of 2020. Here are some different ways that you can actually file the formal protest. We encourage you to file it using our online portal on our website. If you go to our website, in the top right-hand corner, there's an icon that you can click that says Online Protest. That'll bring you to the registration page. You will need your individual PIN number off of your appraisal notice to be able to create an account and file a protest online. The good thing about the online protest, it's fast and it's easy, and you get that immediate feedback and confirmation that we have received the protest so that you know that it's in our office, it's in our hands, and it's considered timely. Through that portal, you can upload any evidence that you have to support your claim, and you can also accept or decline any settlement offers that come from our office. If you choose not to use the online portal, you can still send in your protest via regular first-class mail. You can drop it off at our office by using our drop box out front, or you can email your protest to onlineprotest@hunt-cad.org. Something else I want to mention on the online portal, if you're going to protest more than one property, you will need to submit a separate protest for each property. The appraisal review board hearings are going to be different this year. In an effort to keep our staff, the appraisal review board members, and the public safe and healthy, we are not going to be conducting in-person appraisal review board hearings for 2020. All of the appraisal review board hearings this year will be conducted via telephone conference call. And so what that means, whenever you file your protest, if you're unable to come to an informal settlement with one of our appraisers, you will be scheduled for a hearing. You'll be given a phone number and a time to call in. You'll call in at that time and you will have a telephonic appraisal review board hearing with a 3-member panel of the appraisal review board. The appraisal review board is responsible for scheduling the hearings. The ARB members are not part of the appraisal district. They are a separate entity from the appraisal district. The appraisal review board is made up of citizens of Hunt County. Their sole purpose is to listen to arguments or disagreements between property owners and the appraisal district and to determine the appropriate value of a property based on those arguments and the evidence that's made at the hearing. The panel will make a decision based solely on the evidence. Once that decision is made, the property owner will receive a notice from the appraisal review board indicating what the final value is. Property owners who still disagree with that value have the right and the option to go to district court or to file for binding arbitration. Let's talk for a little while about what you can provide to ensure a successful appeal with the appraisal district. We need evidence. When you file your protest, please provide us as much evidence as possible to support your claim for a reduction in value. The more evidence that you can give our appraisers or the appraisal review board, the more likely you are for a successful appeal. Some of that evidence that you can bring to us, the best piece of evidence is a recent sale price of the property. When we're talking about market value, sale prices are a very good indicator of what the true value of that property is. So if you've purchased your home within the last year, bring us a copy of your closing statement, your settlement statement for the sale of that property from 2019 or 2020, and we'll take a look at it. We'll make sure that it was an arm's length transaction, that there was a willing buyer and a willing seller, and it was on the open market for a reasonable amount of time. But if it is an arm's length transaction, we'll take that sale price into consideration and be able to provide you with a reduction in your appraised value. Review the appraisal district records and make sure that we have your property characteristics correct on the appraisal roll. You can go to our website and look up your account, or you can request a copy of your property record card from our office and look at things like the amount of square footage that we have listed, the amenities that we have listed, the age of your home, the condition of your home. All of those characteristics go into the development of the value of your property. So you want to make sure that we have accurate information, and oftentimes we need your help to make sure that we have accurate information. You can request a copy of your property record card via email at huntcad@hunt-cad.org. So if you aren't sure if we have all of your information listed properly, request that appraisal record card, review it. If you see something that's incorrect, file your protest, bring it to our attention, and let's get it fixed and get you on your road. If there's damage to your property, we need evidence of that damage. Again, when we're making our initial appraisals, we're only seeing the outside of your home. So if there are issues on the interior of your home, we don't know that. Our appraisers don't go inside the homes or the businesses. So we need your help understanding the condition of your property, and some evidence that you can provide to show damage to the property or to show the condition of the property are current photos, bids from contractors, estimates regarding the cost to cure, engineers' reports, insurance settlement reports, but those need to be current. If you have structural or foundation issues and you have an estimate that's 4 or 5 years old, we're really not going to be able to use that. They need to be within 12 to 18 months of the appraisal date. Some other useful documents that you can provide: if you have a survey showing floodplain on your property, that can be helpful to us to make an adjustment to your land value. Fee appraisals are always great. If it is a recent fee appraisal within the past 12 months, please bring that in as evidence. We can use that not only to get the information as far as the square footage, the age, the condition, but we can also look at what the independent fee appraisal value is and see if it's something that we need to make some adjustments to our appraised value. For income producing properties, if you can provide us your income and expense statements, your rent rolls over the past 3 years, we can use that in our income calculation and help develop an income value that might be beneficial in reducing your value. If you're not able to resolve your protest informally with one of our appraisers, you will be scheduled for an appraisal review board hearing. Because we're not doing the in-person ARB hearings this year, we are asking that you submit your evidence prior to the hearing. You will receive notification from the appraisal review board at least 14 days in advance of your hearing date, so you have plenty of time to gather your evidence and get it submitted prior to the hearing. You can send that evidence in through the online portal if you protested that way, or you can email it to us, put it in our Dropbox, or send it to us regular first-class mail. Just remember that the evidence needs to be to us prior to the date of your ARB hearing. A few things to avoid when protesting. We encourage you to file your protest as early as possible. If you wait until the deadline, there's the chance that it may not get to us prior to the deadline, or it's also going to delay and extend the amount of time in which we are able to get back to you. So please get those protests filed as soon as possible. You want to avoid looking at price per square foot as compared to other properties. There's many things that go into a price per square foot on a property, such as swimming pools, barns, any outbuildings or other amenities. So trying to compare price per square foot is not always an apple-to-apple comparison. So we want to make sure that we're looking at apples to apples, and there's so many factors that go into a price per square foot. You also want to avoid arguing the amount of property taxes that you pay. The appraisal district has no control over your tax payment. All we can talk to you about is the value of your property. If you disagree with the value, then let's talk about that. But we need to avoid getting into a discussion about how much you're paying in taxes. While we're sympathetic and understand that the property tax is a huge burden in the state of Texas, we really can't concern ourselves with what your tax bill and tax liability is. All we can talk and deal with at our office is the value of your property. There are certain exemptions that people may qualify for. I encourage you to look at these exemptions and determine if you qualify for one of them. If you think that you do, go to our website, print out the appropriate application form, and submit it to us. If you do qualify, we'll send you a letter letting you know that you've qualified. If you do not qualify, we'll send you a certified letter letting you know that the application has been denied, and you have the opportunity to file a protest on that denial. You'll have 30 days in which to file the protest, and you can appear before the Appraisal Review Board to protest the denial of any exemption application. I want to talk for a few minutes about the property tax formula. When we talk about property taxes and we talk about the appraisal district's role, the value of your property is only 1/3 of the total formula in determining how much you pay in property taxes. You can see from the screen there are 3 elements of the property tax formula. Value being one, the taxing unit's budget being another, and the tax rate that the taxing unit sets. So let's walk through some examples of what that looks like. The example on the far left, we have a taxing unit that determined they need $30 million to operate. And they have $4.5 billion of taxable value on the appraisal roll. So to generate that $30 million, they must adopt a tax rate of 0.667. So let's move to the middle scenario. Same taxing unit, they determine they need $30 million, but this year they have $5 billion on the appraisal roll. So they can lower their tax rate to 0.6 and still generate that same $30 million. In the third scenario on the far right, if the taxing unit has $5 billion of taxable value, but they determine that they need $33.3 million to operate this year, then they're going to have to go back to that tax rate of 0.667. So how does that affect you individually as a taxpayer? Here are some examples. The top example, if your home is valued at $100,000 and the taxing unit set a tax rate of 0.667, then your tax liability to that taxing unit would be $667. If in the subsequent year your value were increased to $111,000 and the taxing unit lowers their tax rate to 0.6, that means your tax bill is still the same, $667. But in the bottom example, if your value increased to $111,000 and the taxing unit determines that they want to hold their tax rate the same at 0.667, that means that your tax liability is actually going to increase to $740.37. I know we've covered a lot of information here today. I hope it was helpful in answering some of your questions. Again, we want you to reach out to us if you have further questions. Contact us over the phone, email, go to our website. We have a lot of good information on our website. We're here to help. We're here to answer questions. Our main goal is to get it right. If we have something that is wrong, please bring it to our attention. Again, our main responsibility is to appraise property, to set values. We don't set tax rates. We don't set the amount of taxes that you pay. But if you have an issue with your appraised value or an exemption, please contact our office. We're happy to help any way we can. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day and feel free to call us anytime. Thank you.